This year, 2018, our theme for the whole year is celebrating 100 years of teaching science of mind. And so this whole year, all of our themes and topics are kind of like a home study course for you. You can read along using Living the Science of Mind, a book by Ernest Holmes, because we've put all of the recommended readings that relate to our weekly topics on our website at www.cslsr.org. Not only that, you can also go back right to the beginning of the year and watch all of the video content on our website, or you can listen to the audio or get podcasts. There's any number of ways you can turn this year into a self-directed study course. I mention that because this whole year has been building a case for something that we've started to talk about this month. This month, our focus is spiritual mind treatment. Now, before I get into what that is, I want to take the phrase one word at a time. Spiritual. That means the atmosphere of reverence. The feeling you get when you do whatever your religion is to do. So if your religion is going to Mass, or if your religion is sitting in nature and contemplating oneness, or if your religion is whatever it is you do that leads you to a connected feeling with the truth of all being, that atmosphere of reverence, that feeling is what we call spiritual. Mind, the second part of the phrase, is something that happens inside of you, in the realm of your thought, with the emphasis on spiritual thought, not just any old thought. Your highest thought, the thought atmosphere that comes from your practice. And then treatment, the third word. Well, how you treat something means how you handle it, how you deal with it. A friend of mine discovered the wooden toy chest from his childhood. It had been stored in the attic or the barn or somewhere, and it had become all covered over with grime, and then the dust set into the grime. But he was so excited about it, you know. He said to me, I'm going to treat it with a product that will remove the grime. You know, and it's going to restore the wood to its original beauty without damaging any of the finish that was on there originally, you know, because the grain and the wood and the color and the beauty was still there. It was just under the grime. So the grime was not the truth of the toy chest. The beauty was the truth of the toy chest. And that truth had to be brought out into the open with a treatment. And after he treated it, it came to life again as if it were born again. That's what treatment means. You're going to deal with something using a specific method to get to a specific result. And when we say spiritual mind treatment, we mean something similar. We mean we are going to deal with something using our spiritual thought to bring out the original goodness and truth of whatever it is we are dealing with. So I can treat my career to bring out the truth of the infinite possibilities that exist. I can treat my health to bring out the radiant energy that is available to me no matter what age or condition I'm in. I can treat my business to reveal the original plan of integrity and success. I can treat my family to bring out into the open the harmony and connection and love that is the foundation of that family. Treatment is about the revealing of the God truth, the God idea about a situation or thing in my own thinking. Spiritual mind treatment is the closest thing that we have to prayer in our teaching. So we sometimes even call it affirmative prayer. And it has got some significant differences. Personally, I find it useful to review what something is not as a way of clarifying what it is. So I've been doing that with spiritual mind treatment. According to my thinking, spiritual mind treatment is not manipulating people or events for some personally desired change. Spiritual mind treatment instead is carefully cleaning away the grime to clearly see the natural wholeness of life in that thing I'm dealing with. It's about revealing. Spiritual mind treatment, according to my thinking, is not attempting to reach God to convince him or her or it to do something on our behalf. So you won't find the phrase, "Please help me," in a spiritual mind treatment. A spiritual mind treatment instead is attempting to be still and to know what God is and to try to think like God thinks and try to see like God sees to the best of my ability. It's about tuning in. Spiritual mind treatment is not willing something to change. It's not willpower. It's not like trying to force something through. It's not drumming up enough emotion and energy to fervently cause something to tip the balance. No, instead, spiritual mind treatment is allowing change to flow through me without interference. I got to keep my fingers out of it, but I do have to set the direction because apparently I've got choice and imagination and desires. It's so quiet in here. It's all right. Spiritual mind treatment is not denying that sickness and suffering and pain exist and avoiding dealing with them. No, remember that the word treat means to deal with. Instead, it's affirming that there is an inherent wholeness behind every person, every situation, everything, and focusing on that while we are dealing with life. Spiritual mind treatment, according to my thinking, is not influencing God to have a change of mind. So there's no bargaining in treatment. You know, if you do this, I'll do that. If you take care of this, I'll never do that again. There's no begging in spiritual mind treatment. Please listen. Listen to me. Seriously now. I mean this sincerely, I'm asking. There's none of that in treatment. You see, it's a different thing. Treatment, if there's influence, it's influencing myself to have a change of mind. Change from what to what? Change from seeing the grime as the only reality to seeing the God idea underneath the grime. And to letting the energy of that vision flow through me to guide me into what to do, how to think, what to choose. In Living the Science of Mind, in the essay assigned for today, Dr. Holmes talks about it beautifully. He says it this way: perfection is already accomplished. It was and it is and it will remain. In other words, there's this perfect idea, like a blueprint, you could say, behind or sustaining everything, a perfect idea. Call it the God truth, if you like, or if you don't like that word, call it the spiritual reality, or if you don't like that, call it the highest ideal or the highest truth. But anyway, you think about it, you've got the dust and the grime that accumulates on the journey, and underneath it that remains untouched all the time is this God truth. So there's a God truth about your body. There's a God truth about your relationships. There's a God truth about your school There's a God truth about our nation. And he writes that the more completely we think about and tune into and feel the God idea, the better our spiritual mind treatment will be. Now remember the wooden toy chest. My friend did not create its original beauty. That was already accomplished. That was already a fact. It was just hidden from view. You know, when I first saw that chest that he showed me so proudly, I was not impressed. I thought it was filthy. I didn't think much of it, and I did not inspire to do anything with it, because what my physical eyes were reporting to me filled me with hopelessness. Do you see what I'm talking about? Yeah? But he wasn't looking at the dirt. It's as if he was seeing through the dirt to something that he knew was true. Even in the presence of the dirt, he was aware of and believing in the radiant beauty. Now, you know, all of last month, we learned together about how what I look at, what I concentrate on, what I become obsessed with, what I dwell in, it creates a kind of filter through which I experience all of life, and it's going to inform my decisions, my hope, my thinking. I get that. And focusing on the grime was depressing me. I needed to look up from the dirt. I needed some possibility thinking. I needed to go beyond what my physical eyes were reporting to me, as real as it was. I know this, maybe you know it too. When I am looking down into my troubles, my energy follows me. Oh, when I look up from my troubles to the bigger picture, when I look up and ask myself, what else is also simultaneously true of this situation? When I look up and I remember, the former radiance, then my energy follows me up. Spiritual mind treatment is mentally looking up from the problem to the God truth. We had an experience of this yesterday. We had a community forum. We have that about every year. It's where we invite anyone who wants to come. You could have come if you were available. We have a forum where people just sit together and have a frank discussion about what is going on with the center. And so we began the discussion by me asking the question, what is the good news of the center, according to you? We started to talk. People mentioned how proud they were of the member assistance program, that fund we created to help families who were struggling after the fires, and how we had received nearly $100,000 of donations from centers all over our nation. Yeah, it was beautiful. And we talked about all of the free stuff here, the meditations, the groups, the support groups, and the opportunities to get involved. We talked about volunteerism, how strong it is and what a blessing it is, both for the people who give their time and for the ones who receive the benefit of that service. We talked about the amazing free 1-hour class, Wednesday Night Wisdom, that's been going all year and how amazing that feels, open to everyone. We talked about how it is that more people are attending services this year compared to last year. We talked about the music programs. Oh my goodness. We talked about how we gave away nearly 100 prayer practitioner, spiritual coaching sessions paid for by the center to people who were struggling emotionally after the fires. We talked about our radio outreach and how wonderful it is that you can tune into the radio if you can't make it to service, or you can even stream it from anywhere in the country or get video, and the amazing video team. We talked about that, how they're just flying, how they're putting that video online almost on the same day, and we talked about our non-profit partner program. How that creates this connection, heart to a larger community You could just feel the room as we talked about this. We were almost levitating, yeah? Because that's the result of appreciation. It lifts you up. I mean, the word appreciation means that, to raise in value. And we were doing exactly that. Oh, and it's so easy to bless something when you're in that frame of mind. Oh, it's so easy to dream of possibilities when you're in that frame of mind. It's so easy to see the God idea when you're in that frame of mind. And then I asked the people a different question. I asked, what else do you think is going on for the center? You know, the stuff that doesn't fit into the category of good news. Oh, we started to talk. Can you feel the room right now? Oh, we talked about how just like everywhere in this county, you know, where nonprofit giving is trending down, giving at the center is trending down. We talked about how just like everywhere in our county, expenses are trending up. The same is happening at the center. Expenses are trending up. Healthcare costs, unexpected facility maintenance. On it goes. We talked about how the fires had an impact on our families and in our community, and how that has rolled over into impacting our center, because families are moving away and our population is decreasing in our county. And we talked specifically about the reality that we have fewer people committing to financially supporting the center on a regular, dependable, weekly way in comparison to last year. We talked about Stepping Stones Bookstore, which is trending downwards as well, because the reality is people find it easier to shop online with any one of the larger online booksellers because it's easier and cheaper. And you could feel the energy of the room shifting, tightening, contracting, and rotating downward. And then we shifted into fixing it. Because, you know, problems, the energy of problems demands solutions. And so we started to brainstorm how to fix it using our thinking. And we talked about how we need to understand the cause behind these trends. We talked about maybe we should remind people to get their Oliver community card so when they shop there that they will get a money sent to the center. And we started to talk about how maybe what we should do is find a way to more effectively talk about our own experience of how valuable the center is to us when we're talking to our friends. Maybe we should share our enthusiasm, and maybe we should talk about all the way that the center touches lives and what the center offers, and all of that is good and true. And what we noticed was that we had departed from the previous state of high-mindedness. We had left the higher realm of rejoicing, and we were traveling down to earth. Look, dealing with problems is a good thing. It's appropriate. Now, what I'm going to say now is very important. It's a question I ask myself, and I invite you to ask yourself, and it has everything to do with spiritual mind treatment. This is the question I ask myself. Do you want to deal with your problems? Do you want to treat your problems from the highest mind of rejoicing, or from the lowest level of struggle? If we were to treat our Center for Spiritual Living, if we were to give a spiritual mind treatment for the Center for Spiritual Living to reveal its prosperity and well-being, we must be in our right minds, in the mind of gratitude and rejoicing and appreciation. Of course, we've got to look at the grime on the toy chest. Of course, we must see things rightly for what they are, while at the same time lifting up our chin and our vision to the God idea and to believe in its radiance, even though it might be hidden at the moment, and to call that perfection into our consciousness and to know that it exists and to have confidence into it and to let that high-mindedness reveal the pathway of our actions and decisions, the ones that lead to our thriving. Now, whether we do that for the Center for Spiritual Living, or we do it for ourselves, or we do it for our nation, our job is not to create perfection. Our job is not to beg for perfection. Our job is not to bargain for perfection, but to reveal it in our own thinking, to be changed from within out. That's how Dr. Holmes writes about it in Living the Science of Mind. He says our business when we're doing this kind of work is not to create perfection, but to reveal it in our own thinking. That's spiritual mind treatment. And don't you know, it takes time. In fact, we just finished a class, the basic ideas of science of mind. We talked about what is the first step in spiritual mind treatment. And it might be surprising to you what it is. The first step is not to do something. Rather, it is to do nothing, to relax, to let it all go, to let go of doing, to relax, to let go even of the problem, to relax, to let go of the planning mind, to relax, to let go and to let go and to let go. You know, the body goes first, relaxes, and then the mind follows and the thoughts settle down. Because you can't take the problem into the treatment. You got to let it all go. And then when you are quite peaceful, and not a moment before, that's when you are ready to start thinking about ultimate reality or God or divinity or whatever you want to call it in your own terms. Why do you want to think about that? Because that's the starting point. You want to come back into touch with the spiritual reality of your being by saying things to yourself like there is only one infinite presence, undivided, pure, unopposed, whatever words are relevant to you. And when you've done that, and you've got that, and you feel the warmth and clarity of it to the best of your ability, that's when you are ready to start saying things to yourself that identify you with this ultimate reality. And if you don't know exactly what to say right away, there are all sorts of examples, like in Living the Science of Mind, page 285, beautiful examples that you can use while you're training yourself. Like you could say to yourself, everything that I do or say or think is governed by divine intelligence and inspired by divine wisdom. And then you can apply it to the center, if you like. Everything that the center does is governed by divine intelligence and inspired by divine wisdom. You could say it for yourself. I am guided into right action. The center is guided into right action. My family is guided into right action. My nation is guided into right action. I am surrounded by love and beauty and enthusiasm, joy and vitality is the truth of my being. It's in my imagine and I'm aware of it, and it is in all of my partnerships. Do you see, there's no begging in it. They're statements of truth. And then after a while, and the examples go on, after a while, when you're done, you sit for a moment and you fully expect the grime to dissolve. You fully expect that when you move into the world, things will be clearer. You fully expect your spiritual mind treatment to demonstrate. That's what we call it. When it successfully clears away the grime, it demonstrated. You fully expect a shift in your own consciousness and in your own relationship to life. And then next week, what we deal with is what happens when your intellect starts arguing with you, right? Yeah, you're doing all this high-minded thinking. Your mind's saying, right? What do you do then, right? Well, you have to come back next week for that. But for now, I invite you to breathe in and exhale as we turn within, letting go of everything for a moment, letting thoughts rest where they may, paying no attention to their arguing if they are, because sometimes they will. And to let the silence that is always present, like the peace that is always present, like the goodness that is always present, letting that come into clear focus. I recognize it. The creative mind of this universe, the perfect power that is present through all things, and I identify myself with it. And I identify it as the truth of everyone hearing these words. And through this identification, then, I realize that my life is an expression of this peace, and that from within me it guides me and sustains me and it tunes me into an infinite flow of circulation and abundance. And this I know to be the truth for the Center for Spiritual Living and its people. Now I call that forward into my consciousness, and it is so bright a realization that it has the effect of banishing from me all the dust and grime of the journey, the shadows of darkness. And I feel like my mind is restored to its former radiance, and I fully expect this treatment to demonstrate as an increase in personal and organizational self-expression, harmony, and abundance. For the good not only of the Center for Spiritual Living and the county of Sonoma and this country, but for all life, all beings, for the good of all. So I rejoice in this shift in awareness, this consciousness shift that is taking place in me by means of this spiritual mind treatment. I rejoice that spiritual laws do all the heavy lifting. It's not up to me. And I let it be. I release this word, and together we say, and so it is.